Hi. Hi guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the two tornado videos today. So just that's fun.
The Red Bull Soapbox Race.
The evening of April 27th, 2014.
Wait, when was it? 11 years ago.
And Helen Greer out her front window to see a fog of death.
Let me go get my dog in. Alright, I'm back.
Approaching her home, with fear smothering her mind.
Wait, that's scary.
The only thing she can do, and runs into the custom-built storm shelter in her home. As the winds envelop the home, Helen is killed.
That's very dramatic in just 20 seconds.
The year is 2011, and Valonia residents are cleaning up from an intense EF2 tornado that tore directly through the town. While to some, an EF2, a lower end rating, would be nothing to gawk at, the residents in Valonia were still affected for life. Little did they know, it would only take 3 years for another tornado to strike. The forecasters at the National Weather Service just issued a 4 out of 5 risk for central Arkansas, and the reason was terrifying. The forecast called for intense, long-track tornadoes. A local meteorologist, Greg D., would announce, "I'm definitely concerned that any thunderstorm that forms over Arkansas will form a tornado tomorrow." All the ingredients were perfectly lining up, and little did they know the outcome would be way worse than they could have ever imagined. It's the morning of the event, and things have only gotten worse. The National Weather Service begins analyzing computer models for the day, and they only become more concerned. Even more storms than expected were being forecasted over our
High risk.
and atmospheric ingredients like CAPE, which measure the energy needed to produce storms, were rising to upwards of 4,000 joules per kilogram, and almost
What the?
level of instability in the air. Due to these measurements and predictions, the forecasters made the difficult decision to upgrade a rare 5 out of 5 high risk for tornadoes over central Arkansas, cementing the idea that things were about to get ugly. Before we continue, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Worth.
I'm just going to skip this part.
Final storm, essentially the last one of the day, began to grow. Within the hour, it continued to grow, becoming the dominant storm in the atmosphere. At the same time, wind shear values began to ramp up, especially near the surface, where nearly 60 miles per hour of rotating air enters the storm, allowing it to begin spinning. Within just a couple of frames, the supercell rapidly organizes, and at 7:06 p.m., a tornado would touch the ground. In Conway, Arkansas, 30 miles to the north, storm chaser Ian Gates was tracking the radar intensely. After a day full of false alarms, this storm looked different. He grabbed his equipment and headed east, knowing he'd need to position himself ahead of the storm's path. What he didn't know was he was about to witness the most violent tornado he's ever seen. Most tornadic storms start off weak, brushing around and gaining their bearings, but this storm was not like most. Within 34 seconds of the vortex touching the ground, it would grow to nearly half a mile wide, and the damage was incredible. Unfortunately, the tornado wasn't touching the ground in the middle of nowhere. In fact, it would be turning into a monster directly over a neighborhood.
Wait, this is scary.
Carol saw the tornado warning on her TV and looked out her window to get a view of it. She stated, "It was really a strange sort of green to the atmosphere. I saw trees starting to lay down, and we ran for the center hall. Carrie, her husband, and her 9 children hid under the stairwell of their home, the safest place Carrie could think of. The roar of the vortex became deafening, and suddenly, the entire home was swept off the foundation. 3 of the Tills, the father, Rob, 20-year-old Tori, and 14-year-old Rebecca, would be killed instantly. The tragedy was almost unfounded. The tornado, moving at highway speeds, went from invisible to horrifically strong within seconds. And this was far from all it would do. As the path began northeast, 3 miles to the east, Matthew Grant would also receive a tornado warning and peer out his window to see the vortex racing through the hills.
Oh, you can hear the tornado sirens.
The tornado can be seen in the video, already remarkably wide, with bands of rain partially obscuring it, turning it into more of a hazy fog than a tornado. The vortex would slightly wobble in size and intensity after this, potentially gaining its bearings as it moved towards the small town of North Point, Arkansas. A group of homes south of North Point is the next target, as the tornado intensifies and completely shreds the
What in the world is my dog doing?
area. Trees in this area would begin to be marked, and the top layer of soil would be scoured away, evidence that within the unstable vortex, an incredibly
I'm speechless.
core was emerging. It continues to shred trees as it approaches North Point, slightly weakening again and only tearing the roofs off a couple of homes and sparing the majority of the North Point area. This was strange, as earlier the tornado was causing virtually the highest level of destruction